They say everything old is new again. Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to my channel. I have been so impressed with the items that the Dollar Tree has brought into the stores this season for fall and Halloween. But I've also been charmed by some of the old items that they have restocked in the store for the season. And that is what inspired today's craft. I found these items and I mixed them with a couple of the new items, and I found them to be absolutely charming, elegant, distinctively beautiful. So come craft with me. Dollar Tree sells these farmhouse candlesticks in 3 different sizes and 3 different styles. They have also, year after year, sold these skull kind of resin votive candle holders in the Halloween section, and I have year after year walked right by them and never picked them up. This year I picked them up, and then I purchased the 3 candlesticks in the 3 different styles and sizes. I decided to paint over the gold embellishments, the little spiders that they have on them, and I think they're cobwebs. Anyway, I decided to paint over them with some Waverly chalk paint in ink. I gave each one of these little votive holders 1 good coat of paint, and it didn't have to be precise because they are black and I'm covering them with black paint. I really honestly think that I had not picked them up before or really had any kind of inspiration hit me because of the little gold embellishments that were on them. I think that it made them look cheap or cheesy for some reason. I think the gold spiders were just kind of throwing me off and was just kind of hampering my inspiration a little bit. Once I got the gold covered up, it gave this a whole new look and made them look completely different, totally high end, totally something that you would buy at Michael's. I was just surprised what a little bit of paint on these little skull holders would actually do for them. And they actually were quite beautiful. And they're kind of chalky in texture. I really don't know how to describe the texture, but they are rough in texture, and they hold the paint really well. They have a little bit of a shine to them, and so the chalk paint kind of dulled that down as well. And it just made them look absolutely gorgeous just with the black chalk paint over the top of the existing paint that was already there. I decided to dry brush with another little sponge brush with some Waverly chalk paint in elephant, in the color elephant, and I dabbed some off onto my cardboard just so I wouldn't put too much on there, and I didn't want to do anything elaborate. None of my dry brushing is going to be elaborate or something too complicated to accomplish, and I just dabbed a little bit here and there. I wasn't really sure what I was going to cover up or how much I was going to cover up, so I just hit each skull differently with my brush, and some of them I detailed the nose or where the nose was supposed to be, and some I did the crevices, some I did the top, and I just tried to do each one a little bit different so it looked like each one was aged a little bit differently and had a little bit depth and dimension, just a little bit different. There are some little cracks in the skull, and so I tried to hit them all just a little bit different and shaded each one a little bit differently with my sponge brush. Disclaimer here, I am not the artist in the family, and I don't do elaborate paint jobs, and I know some people would probably go over this with, several different colors of paint, but the little bit more dimensions on here and bring your eye a little bit differently, but I'm just a simple girl and I'm a simple crafter. And so I just did what my eye looked good and what looked good to me and what was simple and easy to accomplish. I did the exact same thing once I had everything looking the way I wanted it to. I did the exact same thing with the candlesticks, and I did not paint the candlesticks because they are black and there was no reason to go over them with the chalk paint. I just did the same thing with the elephant on this. I did the same technique with it. There were some rough spots that kind of where the store had kind of banged it up. And honestly, it might have been me transporting it, all my goodies home in a little bag that, they weren't wrapped up. So it might have been me. But there were just a little dings here and there. And so I just kind of touched it up with the black paint every so often. But I just went over that and I just dry brushed them, each one a little bit differently because the styles are different, and I hit each one. And some I went down the candlestick pillar, and some, the fluting was different, and I just kind of did every one a little bit differently. And I did make sure that I kind of dabbed my brush off here and there, and if I got too heavy, then I went over it with the black, and then I put some black E6000 along the top edge of these candlesticks. And I use black a lot in my E6000 because I craft a lot with black, and so I knew that it wouldn't show. So if it did do some dripping, that it wouldn't show, it wouldn't be glommy. And so I put some black E6000 along the top edge of each one of these candlesticks so that it would be nice and have a good solid hold for, it wouldn't tip over and it wouldn't come apart on me. And then I just put a little dab of hot glue in the places where I did not have E6000, so that I would have a right now hold and I could craft with it, and then a more permanent hold in 24 hours when it dried really good. I made sure each one of my candlesticks were really good and glued, and everything was nice and solid, and I kind of policed my little cobwebs that my hot glue gun made, and I wanted to make sure everything was nice and tight and solid. And I loved the 3-tier effect that this made. And by themselves, just like they are, they're really kind of amazing, just like this, without even doing anything to them. But I have picked up 3 bunches of fall foliage. One were just leaves, one was sunflower, and the other was a different chrysanthemum. I just started taking the heads off of the flower, and where the votive was supposed to go in the little head of the skull, then I just started arranging my foliage in. Some I clipped off with my little wire cutters so that it would have some height to it, and I just hot glued my foliage in. Some I put a sunflower in, some all leaves with a little tiny gourd because I just thought it was cute and gave it just a little bit of a quirky detail. And then on another one I put the beautiful red chrysanthemum so that it would have all the colors of fall. I absolutely love the colors of fall against the black background. I think it just is startling and beautiful, and it showcases all of those gorgeous colors. I am really fond of the more traditional colors of fall. I love the reds and yellows and burgundies and those deep, rich, gorgeous colors that, when the leaves fall and that air that it gives. I'm just a sucker for the traditional colors. but you could do this with neutral colors, and the turquoises would be simply fabulous against this black background as well. This would also be marvelous if you paired this with a burgundy or a purple. Purple would just be simply phenomenal actually against this as well. But I just chose the colors because I am actually incorporating this with my existing decor, and a lot of my decor is fall foliage that is just the typical fall foliage. I decided to do something a little quirky and put a sunflower down on the cheek of my skull just to lend some character, and I was actually trying to cover up one of the spiders so that my skull, they wouldn't all look uniform, so that they would look a little differently. And I put a leaf down to cover one, and I put a little sunflower to cover another. I took some floral moss, and then I just started piecing it in. You could use Spanish moss, but I chose floral moss because I wanted this to be really elegant and not have a spooky feel, but more of an elegant feel. And I picked this up at the Dollar Tree, and I just took little pieces and hot glued this in around my floral. I paid special attention to where the votive kind of dipped in, and I wanted to make sure I hid all that. I did go down and hide where I had hot glued some of the florals in so that none of the unrighteous, backside of the florals would show. And then I put some in on the top so that it kind of looked more in nature, like what you would find in nature and out in your yard. And then every piece was different and had a different look and feel to it. I was just in love with how this turned out. I think it's adorable. I love it, and it is so elegant. And it is 100% Dollar Tree. My table, I decided to put this on my table, and I paired it with the Dollar Tree Plus pillar candle holders with the raven to match my other Gothic fall decor. And I put an LED candle on one, and the height on the table is gorgeous. My dinnerware is last season's Dollar Tree. They are fall plates, and the fall leaves that are felt decor from the Dollar Tree. The chargers are Dollar Tree that I have painted with black chalk paint, and it goes with my other fall decor. I think this is stunning. It would be beautiful on an entry table. Even though I chose it for my dining room, it would just be stunning on an entry table. It is elegant. It is Gothic fall to a T, and I am so proud of how this turned out. I love it. It's an oldie but goodie, and I am so glad that Dollar Tree brought this back so that I could craft with it. It is so budget friendly, and it breathes new life into my table, and I am over the moon excited about my Gothic fall. I wrapped my table napkins in some berry garland from the Dollar Tree, and I have a beautiful table full of Dollar Tree products that looks very high-end, very elegant Gothic fall, which is the look I was going for. Thank you for following along with me on this series. I have enjoyed crafting it. I have enjoyed this so much. It has really been something that I have enjoyed so much creating, and I have loved every minute sharing it with you. So I will link that playlist down below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so that you know when I've uploaded my next video, and give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching Crafts, Laughs, and Chaos.